In this lesson, you'll learn how to create a multiple-page story with the inserted graphic images in the text, and we'll have the text actually wrap around those graphic images. And the sample story that you're creating can be personalized by replacing the suggested text and pictures with your own selections. And just a reminder, this lesson assumes that you've already completed Lesson 1. If you have not done so, you should go back and do that. Otherwise, some of the instructions may be confusing. I should also note that this lesson closely follows the textbook Word Processing for Students. That book is available on Amazon, or if you scroll to the bottom of the YouTube page, you'll see a link. To start this new project, I'll open LibreOffice. Notice that the LibreOffice welcome screen contains thumbnail sketches of recent documents. This is handy if you want to go back and redo or rework on a document. In this lesson, we're going to create a new Writer document. So I'll select that. And when the new Writer document opens up, you'll notice on the title bar that the name of this document is untitled, and it's a good idea to get into the habit of taking control of these documents, names, and locations early on. So the first thing I'm going to do in this new document is I'm going to select File, Save As, and when the system opens up the Save As dialog box, it remembers the path and folder that you used previously for LibreOffice. So now I can go here and I can type My Story and say Save. And now if I check the title bar, I'm working on a document named My Story. Well, I'm going to use My Story as the title within this document also. So on the very first line, I'm going to type My Story. And I don't want to use the default paragraph style for that. This is going to be my title, so I'll select this arrow and I'll choose the title paragraph style. And you notice that the paragraph style changes the font, changes the alignment, the whole thing. Also, every paragraph style has information about what paragraph style should be next. So when I hit the Enter key and create a new paragraph, notice that that paragraph style is not the default paragraph style, but it's the body text style. That was set by whoever created this title paragraph style. Well, now we need to have some text that we use for this, and for the purposes of this lesson, we need to have at least 4 pages of text. I'm going to jump over to Firefox. I'm going to go to a page that allows me to generate old-fashioned text. The Lorem Ipsum text has been used for years by printers to use as a placeholder to test their styles. So I'm going to go to the middle of this Lorem Ipsum text, and I'm going to select all of the text in that window, Control A, and once that text is selected, I can use the Control C copy trick, Control C, and that copied the selected text to the invisible clipboard. Now I can go back to LibreOffice, position the cursor where I want it, and this time I'm not just going to paste it, but I'm going to go to Edit, Paste Special, Paste Unformatted Text. The reason I did that is because it'll preserve the body text paragraph style. If I would have just pasted the paragraphs, I don't know what style. I would have gotten whatever paragraph style was used by that text that I copied. However, the Lorem Ipsum example automatically put lines or paragraphs between paragraphs. I don't need those because the body text paragraph style automatically spaces between paragraphs. Well, now that I have some placeholder text here, I need to have more placeholder text. I need to have at least 4 pages of text to demonstrate the procedures in this lesson. So this time I could just put the cursor here and do Control A. However, that would select too much. I don't want to include the title in my selection. Let me back off here and double click on the first word, shift click, to select just that body of text and copy that. Control C. I'll put the cursor at the end there, and I have the text in my secret clipboard, so I'm going to Control V and paste it. But I still only have one page of text. Let me keep pasting, pasting, pasting. If you're watching, down here you see now we have page 2 of 2. We have 2 pages of text. I'm going to keep going. Paste, paste, paste until now I have 4 pages of text. Let me go back to the very top by pressing Control Home. Now if I observe the bottom line here, I can see that, well, let me click in the first page so you know where we're on. We're on page 104, and that page uses a default page style. Now I don't want to use the default page style for this, so I'm going to go over to the sidebar and I'm going to select Styles, and in the Styles list I'm going to select All Styles, and notice that in the Styles sidebar we have these different options. We have paragraph styles, we have character styles, we have home styles, and we have page styles. That's what we want. So I'm going to select page styles, and now I'm going to, remember I have the cursor in that first page. I'm going to double click on the right page style and watch what happens. Now over here you can see now that this page is using the right page style. Let me scroll down to the next page and see what's happened here. On page 2 you'll see that it's using the left page style, and on page 3 we're back to the right page style again. It turns out that when you define a page style, you can tell the system what page style to follow a particular page style. Well, when I observe these different pages, I notice that these margins are not what I'd like to have. If I want to make a two-sided document, I would like to have the margins on the binding side be wider than the margins on the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the styles list here to custom styles. And in the custom styles box, I can right click and I can create a new style. That will open up the page style dialog box. I have to give a name for this style, so I'm going to call it My Right Page. And now I have to tell it what the next style is. Well, I don't have a left page style yet, so I'm just going to say My Right Page. Then I'm going to go to the Page tab of the dialog box. Notice that this document is set up for 8.5 by 11 portrait. However, the margins are not what I want. And on a right page in my two-sided pages, I would like to have the left side of the right side page have a wider margin. In this case, I'll use 0.75. That'll give me more space for binding, but the other side doesn't have to be that wide. I'm going to press the tab key and jump to the next box and type 0.5 tab, 0.5 tab, 0.5 tab. So now I have left and right margins set for my page style, and the page style that I'm working on is my right page. So let me say OK. Now I need a page style for my left page, so let me right click in there, select New. This time I'm going to do my left page. And this time I'm going to choose My Right Page. It would be better if I spelled that correctly, wouldn't it? Have a hard time typing. I'm going to select the arrow here for my next page to be my right page. Once again, I want to select the size of the page and the margin. Now this is a left page, so I better have a larger right margin. and then I'm going to say OK. Now what I have to do is I have to go back to my right page. I'll right click on my right page and I'll say edit that style, because now in the organizer tab I can select the next style to be my left page. Okay, now that that's all set, let me go up to the top of the document, and I'm going to make this first page have my, not the generic right page style. I'm going to make the first page be my right page. And you notice how the margins are fixed. And if I scroll down, there's my left page, and the margins are fixed. Now, I want to see how this will look when I'm in a book layout mode. So I'm going to go down here to the lower right, and I'm going to choose the book view, and then again down in the lower right I'm going to zoom way out until I see a lot of pages in the book. With that book view zoomed out, I can see whether I got the margins correct. If I would have had the wrong margins for the left page compared to the right page, I wouldn't have this extra wide center area for the binding. So we've created our custom page styles for our book. Now when I study these pages, I see that it would be nicer if I had headers and footers. So let me go back and edit my page styles. Right click, edit style, and in the dialog box I can turn on headers and I can turn on footers. Okay, let me do the same for the right page. Edit the style, turn on the footer, turn on the header. Okay, and now when you see the book layout, you'll see there's a little extra space here for footers and for headers. Now that we have headers and footers available, we can add something. I'm going to put the cursor in the footer, and this will give us a chance to explore something called fields. I'm going to type the word page, space, and now I'm going to go to Insert, Field, Page Number. Then I'm going to type a space and type the word of, space, go back and insert another field, which will be page count. So now my footer shows page number and the count. I'd like to use the same thing for all the footers. So let me just copy that, Control C, scroll down, go into the left page, paste the footer. But wait, look at that. It's already in this other page, because once you put a page footer, it'll follow all those page styles. And here we are with the footer on both the left pages and the right pages. And now the question is, how would we like that? We can align this text either to the left or to the right or to the center. We can go to Format Align, or if you look here on the toolbar, here are alignment options. Align center, and I better do the left one, align that to the center. Now, if you've been looking at my Word Processing for Seniors book, you'll notice that I've changed the alignment of the footers so that my footer alignment is always to the right side of the right pages and to the left side of the left pages. I've done that because when you flip through the book, you'll see that side of the page quicker and you'll be able to see what page you're on. Let's look at another one of the properties that we could insert. I'm going to go to File, way down here to Properties, and I'm going to enter a title, and this is going to be my story as the title. They'll say OK. Now I'm going to go to the header and I'm going to say Insert, and by the way, there's a shortcut to this. Here's Insert Field, and I want to insert the title field. Similarly, I can go to the other page and insert the title field. I missed. Insert title field. So very easily you can have the title of your book in all of the headings on all of the pages, and you can have the page number and page count on all of the footers. Once again, I'm going to go here and I'm going to center that header on all of my pages. Now in a future lesson, you'll see how you can actually create custom paragraph styles. Just like we created custom page styles, we can create custom paragraph styles. I just noticed something. There's an underline under that word. Let me zoom in and see what's going on there. Once I zoom in, you'll see that there's an underline under the word page. Oh, it's not page, it's page, and it's been misspelled. I need to fix that. So I've got a couple of tricks for fixing the spelling. One is I can just go in there and edit it. But watch what happens if I click on the right mouse button when I'm on that word. It gives me a whole bunch of options, and I just click on page, and now it's fixed. Did it fix it on both footers? Nope. So I have to fix both the left and right footers. Right click, select page, and that fixes that spelling error. Let me just go back to the single page view and zoom to have that page fit. Just a quick review. We went in here and we created a story with just placeholder text. When you do this, you can put any text you want in there. We use it as a placeholder text just so we can see how the book view works. And we've gone in and we've actually created page styles to have different margins for the left and right margins, depending on whether it's a left side page or a right side page. And then we've added headers and footers, and in the footer we've inserted a page number and we've inserted a page count. We've also done a similar thing with page headers, and we've used the alignment tools to adjust the alignment of things in those headers and footers. So we've done a lot in this lesson, but in the future, and not only create custom page formats, but we're going to create custom paragraph formats as well. But in the meantime, you need to do some practicing. Next, we will insert some graphics files into the story. Graphics files, which are pictures or drawings or other images, can be inserted into documents or into frames within the documents. They can either be embedded or linked. It's not possible to tell the difference between embedded and linked graphics by simply looking at a document. Embedded graphics become an integral part of the document and increase the size of the file. Linked graphics are not added directly to a document. Instead, the document contains a pointer or a file address that the system uses to fetch the file whenever it's needed. An advantage to linked files is that if the original graphic is changed, the document will automatically include the changed graphic. Also, by linking graphics, the document size is smaller than it would be if the graphic was embedded. A disadvantage of linked graphics is that if the document is moved from one computer to another, the linked files must also be moved. The trick to solving this problem is to create a special folder for the document with a graphics subfolder. If the document folder is copied to a different computer, the linked files folder will follow along. Not linking the files removes this problem, but increases the file size. We will insert an image in the first page and have the text wrap around the image. But first, we need an image. Just for fun, let's copy an image from Google Image Search. I've opened my web browser and I've gone to Google Images, and in the Google Image search box I typed Wikipedia flower. And when I enter that, Google gives me a whole bunch of flowers. If I scroll down here, you can see there's an endless collection of flowers. I'm going to focus on this flower collection from Wikipedia, the online encyclopedia. So I'm going to left click to select that image. And when I do, it opens up this sidebar with the image. It also gives me an opportunity to click visit, and that'll send me directly to the web page that has that image. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to right click on that image, and that'll open up a context menu, and I'm going to say copy the image. Now I can go back to my LibreOffice document, and then I'll place the cursor somewhere in this first paragraph. And now I'm going to say edit paste. The shortcut is Control V. And it inserts that, but the size is way too large. There's several ways to control that size. One is if you get the cursor right on this corner box, you can drag and move that size. I'm just going to drag and drag until it's smaller. Now I have the image in a new place, but the text is not wrapping around that very well. I do have the wrap options here, and if I choose wrap after, you'll see that the text is wrapped to the right side of the image. If I choose wrap before, the text is wrapped before the image, but the image is still not in a very good location. What I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on that image, and that will open up an image dialog box, and that gives me a little better control of this image. I'll click on the position and size option, and I can choose what size to make this image. I want to make sure that I've clicked keep ratio on, or it'll change the aspect ratio of the image. Let's make this be about 1.5 inches, 1.5, and I want to anchor it to a paragraph. And I want to position it to the right. Now I have all these options in the image dialog box. I'll choose wrap, and I'm going to say wrap before it remembered that, and then I'm going to select borders, and now I have all these options for borders. All 4 borders, left and right borders only, top and bottom borders. I'm going to choose all 4 borders. And I could choose a different border style or different thickness just to see how that works. I'll choose the 0.75 point. I can also use a shadow. So if I pick a shadow here, I have different places to put that shadow. Just for fun, let's put it there. Okay, let's see what that does. Okay, it changed the image size. It put a little border around it. It wraps it to the right, and it puts a shadow. Now, once that image is in place, you have all kinds of ways to control it. Again, you can drag it, but you have to be careful. You want to make sure you maintain the aspect ratio. Well, you should go ahead and play with inserting image, but let's use the copy and paste trick. I've gone back to Google Images, and this time I've entered trees in the search box. Now I get all of these tree options. Now, when you want to use copy and paste, you don't want to select any of these trees that have prices on them, because that's going to take you to the nursery or whoever's trying to sell those trees. Instead, let's just pick a tree, any tree. I'm going to left click on a tree, and once again it opens up in the sidebar. And in the sidebar, I'll right click, and I'll say copy the image. If I would right click here and copy the image, I'll get a thumbnail size image. Over here, you'll notice that if you look close, you'll notice that this image is 1200 by 768. Every one of these images will have a different resolution, and you need to pay attention to that as you're selecting images. Well, now that I have an image in my clipboard, I'll go to page 2 and pick a spot, any old spot, and I'm going to Control V and paste that image. The thing is, when I do that, I don't have control of the image size. So to get control of the image size, once it's there, I'm going to double click on the image and open up the image dialog box again. Go to position and size. This time I think I'll make this 3.5. Once again, I want to anchor it to the paragraph. And I want to, let's put it to the left just for fun. And I want to wrap, after. Oops, better click on the little box. I want to wrap after. Once again, I'll choose a border, and this time I can choose a border. The padding number here is how much space there is between the border and the image. Just to demonstrate, let's increase that quite a bit. I'm going to make that padding 0.3, and because this synchronize is checked, it's going to make it the same all the way around. Okay, let's see what that looks like. This time I have the image with the text wrapped around that side, and notice what that 0.3 did. It put that much space between the border and the image. If I double click and once again select the wrap option, you'll notice that there's spacing for the wrap. Now I've put that tree off to the left side, so to the right of that, let's see what happens if I add some spacing. Okay, let's check it out. Now what happened is it put space between the edge of the wrap and the wrapped text. You want to see that again? I'm going to double click on the image, choose wrap, and change the spacing to the right. Make it dramatic so you can see the difference. So this time I put a lot of space between that image and the text. So there's all kinds of things you can do when you're inserting images into your documents. You should take some time to experiment with inserting images and with the options for inserting images. Some of these options are right on the toolbar when you have an image selected. Remember, at the very beginning of lesson 1, I said this toolbar was context sensitive. If I click here in the text, it'll give me the text tools. If I click here and select an image, it changes the tools to image tools, and there I have wrap tools, I have alignment tools, and I can put, if I have multiple images, I may have them overlapping, and so I can move them. I can move them forward or backward in a stack of images. So once again, you need to practice. Close LibreOffice, start it up, open a new document, save it with a name and location that you can find again, and then create your own story. Add your own text, add your own page formatting, insert some images, and experiment till you feel you have this process under control.